Look at the star on your chest and tell me what you see. Is it a symbol of dominance or is it a target? For 30 long years, we have been chasing the ghosts of the 90s, triplets who moved like gods, and a doomsday defense that inhaled the hopes of the league. But today, the reality in Frisco is cold, hard, and unacceptable. We sit here in the dawn of 2026, staring at the wreckage of a 7-9-1 campaign. 7 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie that felt like a funeral. We watched the Matt Eberflus experiment go up in smoke as the defense surrendered 30 points per game, the worst statistical showing in the history of this storied franchise. Jerry Jones isn't just all in anymore. He is busting the budget to keep the ship from sinking after a year where he effectively punted on 2025. The ghosts of Tom Landry's fedora and the iron-jawed legacy of the 70s are weeping in the halls of the Star. But before we look at the blueprints for the 2026 resurgence, you have to be part of the most powerful fan base in sports. Subscribe, hit that like button, and tell me in the comments, is Dak still the man to lead us, or is the window slammed shut? I want the raw truth from the Cowboys Nation. The silence in the corridors of the Star is deafening. You walk past the trophies, past the portraits of Landry and Johnson, and you realize that the shine is fading. While the rest of the NFL gears up for the divisional round, we've been sitting at home for 2 weeks, wallowing in the stench of a D-grade performance. Jerry Jones threw the season into the furnace the moment he shipped Micah Parsons to Green Bay. You don't just trade a generational predator and expect the doomsday spirit to survive. It was a betrayal of the standard. Eberflus took the fall, and he deserved to be fired, but let's be honest, he was sent into a gunfight with a pocket knife after the front office took his biggest weapon away. And now, the carousel turns to a familiar face. Ian Rappaport is reporting that on this Monday, January 19, 2026, Jonathan Ganon is inside Jerry World. He is walking the halls of Frisco. Ganon, the former Arizona Cardinals head coach, fresh off being relieved of his duties in his 3rd year. A man who climbed the mountain with the Eagles, only to watch the wheels come off in the desert. We are talking about the first face-to-face interview in a search that has spanned 9 candidates. 9 men interviewed virtually, but only Ganon, Eagles assistant Christian Parker, and Vikings passing game coordinator Durante Jones have earned the right to look the Jones family in the eye. But let's get into the film room reality. We allowed 511 points last year. 511. We abandoned the doomsday tradition for a passive scheme that looked like a sieve. Is Ganon the answer, or is he just Eberflus with a different haircut? The data doesn't lie. Ganon has cited Eberflus as his greatest influence. They are schematic twins. His first year in Philly, they were 17th in EPA per play. They jumped to 4th, sure, but they were 23rd against the run. They were 18th in the 4th quarter and overtime. In Arizona, the criticism was a jagged pill to swallow, an utter inability to adjust on the fly. We are talking about a Cardinals team buried in a loaded division that couldn't stop the bleeding when it mattered. The vibe at the Jones table right now is pure desperation, a veteran scout told me off the record this morning. They want the Eagles-era Ganon, who sat at the top of the defensive rankings, but they're terrified they're hiring the Cardinals-era Ganon, who couldn't stop a nosebleed in the desert. Another insider at the Star whispered, Jerry is looking at the extra 2026 first-round pick he got from the Parsons trade as his final bullet. He needs a DC who can weaponize that pick, but Ganon's lack of adjustments is a massive red flag in the building. And a third source, Ganon's connection to Eberflus is the elephant in the room. Why would you fire the student just to hire the teacher when the curriculum is already failing? Let's dive deep into the DNA of this team. Dak Prescott, $240 million of pressure.
He carries the weight of Staubach's precision and Aikman's poise, but he's doing it in an era where the defense is a liability. He put up numbers, but without a front seven that can hold a lead, he was a captain on a sinking ship. Then you have CeeDee Lamb, the heir to the number 88 legacy. He is Michael Irvin's playmaker spirit reborn. When he runs that slot fade, it's poetry, but he needs a defense that gives him the ball back. We have 22 pending free agents. Names like George Pickens and Javonte Williams are watching this DC hire very closely. Why stay in Frisco if the scheme is just a retread of the same mistakes? The tactical shift is mandatory. Ganon is a former safety. He's defensive-minded to his core. But Dallas personnel is built for the Dan Quinn attack style, not the bend but eventually break Ganon's shell. We need a coordinator who understands that the star is a target for everyone else, so we have to hit them first. If we hire Ganon, we are betting on his 2022 Philly form where they dominated the sack count, but we don't have Micah Parsons anymore. We have a gaping hole where the lion used to be. Can Ganon manufacture pressure with stunts and simulated blitzes, or will he sit back in a soft cover 4 while opposing QBs carve us up for another 30 points a night? And don't forget the other names. Jim Leonard is the ghost in the room. The Broncos' assistant is the name Jerry really wants to speak to, but Ganon is the one in the building today. This is Hollywood high-stakes poker nation. Do you go with the fired head coach looking for redemption, or do you wait for the rising star in Leonard? Christian Parker is coming in later, a man who understands the modern passing game better than anyone. Jerry is busting the budget, but he's also fighting the clock. Hear me clearly. 2025 was a sacrifice at the altar of the future. It was a disastrous year by any metric, but the capital we have now, the extra picks, the cap space from the Parsons exit, is a weapon. But a weapon is useless in the hands of a rigid architect. We need the Texas-sized energy back in the doomsday tradition. We need a DC who demands that the front 4 eat first. We need a secondary that doesn't just cover, but hunts. The burden of the star is heavy. It requires glory. It requires the fedora-wearing discipline of Landry and the swagger of Jimmy Johnson. We are at a crossroads in Frisco. The 7-9-1 record is the bottom. The only way is up. Jonathan Ganon is on the premises. Is he the savior, or is he the final nail in the coffin of the 2020s? Stand up, Cowboys Nation. The resurgence starts now, or the star fades into obscurity forever. We are the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, and it is time to act like it. Bring us the defense. Bring us the sacks. Bring us the ring. Jerry, make the right call. Don't settle for influence. Demand innovation. Frisco pride, Jerry World, the star. It all means nothing without the gold. It all means nothing without the ring. Cowboys Nation, keep your head up, but keep your standards higher. We are coming for everything they said we couldn't have. The 2026 season isn't just a schedule, it's a reclamation project.